Welcome back, everybody, to the Pine Podcast. We missed you, and it's only been a week. We've been giving you content weekly, and thank you for subscribing. Shout out to all the people that subscribed, the people that I've met, told about the Pine, and they've subscribed. Love you, appreciate you. Continue to interact with us on the SoundCloud at The Real Pine, on Twitter at The Pine Pod, on IG or Instagram at The Pine Podcast, and on YouTube at The Pine Podcast. I'm joined again for another round with mi gente, Jay Hart and Chloe Harrison. How the people doing?
Hello.
You're listening to The Pine.
What's new, guys? How was your Memorial Day?
Oh, it went well. Went to a cookout, made some new friends. Yeah, it was nice. It was very relaxing. And it was funny because they grilled, but we stayed inside because it was so hot. But I had a great time.
Okay. It was too hot. Why did the weather just go from uncomfortably cold to ridiculously hot?
I don't know. It's just climate change, honestly. It should not be this hot in May. July, I understand. May, I do not.
We're going to blame this on 45 or no?
Why not?
I'm asking for a friend.
Well, listen, it's nice and seasonably cool here, so I don't have them problems.
Jay, I know you don't. You're blessed to be living on the West Coast. What's the weather like over there?
It was 65 today.
Oh, that's
with light
breezy.
wind. With light wind, it was great. It's beautiful. It's a great
that's
weekend.
Fantastic. I'm kind of jealous.
I had an enjoyable weekend.
Shout out to you.
Always shout out to me.
Always. Permanent shout out to Jay Hart.
Himself.
Listen, I went to LA. I did some ratchet stuff. I'm not gonna talk about.
I want to know the story. Please do share.
No, there wasn't no story to tell. It was just ratchet stuff.
Not say
it was so great that you just forgot everything that happened. I like that.
Listen, I refuse to incriminate myself on the Pine Podcast, on my own podcast. But I went to LA, had some fun. I'm back.
Welcome
slept
back,
all
Jay.
day. Well, I slept most of the day yesterday. Almost slept most of the morning this morning. Forgot I had to go to work.
Oh.
Yeah, we here.
All right.
Went to work, worked all day. Now we here.
We here. We will not stop. We love giving the people our takes. It's just three geniuses on the sideline sitting on the pine, and we got a lot to say. We're gonna get right into it. The NBA draft lottery happened. We weren't able to give you a show, but we got a lot of opinions on that thing. Zion Williamson, he is expected to be drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans. RJ Barrett is expected to go third to the New York Knicks. And John Morant, who just recently signed with Nike, the swoosh and the check, is expected to go number 2 to the Memphis Grizzlies. I did not have a beef with the NBA draft lottery. A lot of Knicks fans were crying. A lot of them were saying it's ridiculous that we fell to 3 and then we just can't get anything right. My response to those guys is, as a Knicks fan, we haven't been doing things right for 17 years, okay? So don't get emotional when the lottery ball doesn't fall to you. Work with what you got. RJ Barrett is a fantastic prospect. Draft him. Don't trade him. You heard it first here on the Pine. What's you guys' take on everything?
It's honestly the funniest thing to me is when the Knicks laughed at the Lakers for not making the top 4, and then the first name drawn after the top 4 was announced is none other than the New York Knicks. If that isn't one of those things where it's humble pie has been served upon you, I don't know what is. But it's funny that you said the Knicks haven't been right for 17 years, because you know what else came out 17 years ago this week? Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. Do y'all remember that movie?
That was an underrated movie.
That is a classic. That is a classic. So I just think that's hilarious that y'all haven't been fired since Spirit, and we almost forgot about Spirit, our little yellow horse friend.
Spirit was a chocolate horse, and he had a little yellow girlfriend. I see what
no,
y'all trying
Spirit
to do right
was
there.
yellow. Spirit was yellow.
What was the black horse? Who was the black horse?
The black horse.
I don't know. Spirit was yellow.
We were looking at the different movies.
Wow, you must have not gotten the right toys in your kids' meal.
No, listen, I got Aladdin, which is out now. I don't think anybody should see it, but I had the bootleg Aladdin.
What's the
there was
the
an Aladdin too.
Aladdin?
A lot of people don't know about, but I had it on bootleg, and I never watched it. You know why? Because when I popped it in, I saw the first 10 seconds, and it just went fuzzy. So that's probably the similarly. Was it Spirit the Stallion movie I saw? I saw it probably a bootleg. That's all.
We need to talk about your whole childhood.
Right?
Let's
Yeah,
get
they
you
must
out-
have
get
Spirit
you-
for you.
Sit you on the couch and let's talk about your
Wow, you
childhood.
My
said
mom
it-
did a good job, but I saw some things. I put it like that.
It don't sound like you saw anything.
Not at all. You said it with your whole chest. Oh, that's a classic.
I definitely didn't see the Knicks do good, and that's a big deal. So
No, but honestly, the Knicks haven't been good since the 90s. And it's fascinating to me that, they weren't able to win a championship given the Rockets and the Bulls. But I don't know what it is with New York. Like, is it, James Dolan being the owner of the Knicks, or, because it's like New York has the market. In fact, I think the Knicks are one of the richest teams in the NBA, if not like in that top 2 with the Lakers. They have a great market in New York City. They play in Madison Square Garden. It just fascinates me how they just have failed to get it together. And it's just like, Spike Lee's really hanging on to dear life. I really want him to have a finals
Spike Lee on his
experience.
deathbed?
No, I'm not putting him on his deathbed, but it's been almost 50 years since the Knicks won a championship, and same with the Bucks, but like the only difference is New York's a big market and Milwaukee is not. And yet Milwaukee has a star that wasn't able to make the finals, but anyways, they have a star. I think the Knicks will do well with the draft, but to see them not get the number 1 pick and have it go to, of all places, New Orleans, given the Anthony Davis scandal, I think it just sets up another blockbuster summer for this free agency deadline.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go Dolan for a big part of it, and part of that is personnel decisions, which led to bad draft decisions, bad free agency decisions. It's an amalgam of things. I think that they have gotten it right as of last year, but like going back, let's see. Frank Nicolina, Damian Dotson. They got Porzingis right in 2015, and then traded him now. Jerry and Grant, Cleanthony Early.
No.
The other Antetokounmpo brother.
No.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Thanasis.
Yes.
No.
Thank
no.
you. A Kostas Papankoulianou. 2011, Amon Shumpert. That didn't pan out. Josh Harrelson.
Hell no.
Andy Routins. Landry Fields was okay for a couple seasons.
Yeah, he went to Toronto.
Yep.
So was
Jerome
Linsanity.
Jerome Jordan.
No.
Jordan Hill. Tony
no.
Douglas.
No.
2008 Gallinari. Still in the league now, so it can't be that wasn't so bad of a draft pick. Just was bad for New York. Wilson Chandler, bad for New York. Demetrius Nichols, Ronaldo Balkman. Let's start there. Ronaldo Balkman started the downfall. From 2000, when they took Ronaldo Balkman in the first round, from 2006 all the way until 2015, they were cursed. The Balkman curse.
No.
Here's the thing,
So
Jay.
I think it's a combination of all those things.
I'm glad that you got that
let's
off your
hear the
chest.
thing from the Knicks fans.
Yeah,
let's
right.
hear the thing from the Knicks
I mean, I
fans.
have plenty of things to say. The Knicks
You are now listening to
were
the Pine.
the heartbeat of the league. Jordan was the show, okay? In the late 90s and early 90s, yes, that's how it went. And everything is cyclical. If the New York Knicks organization is patient, if they stockpile their draft picks, if they develop their talent, and they act like every other organization has that's won a championship in the last 10 years, they'll be fine. That's simply all I have to say about that. The
I
overreaction
will
of
give y'all
not getting
credit.
Zion Williamson of New York Knicks fans shows that true people that know basketball wouldn't panic, right? Because you have three really great players. You have John Morant, you have RJ Barrett. Those two individuals are solid pieces, foundational pieces to any team. RJ Barrett's usage was higher than Zion Williamson's at Duke. He was a primary ball handler. He had a better three-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's got better handles.
Yep.
He's got a better mid-range game.
Yep.
The only thing RJ Barrett is not better at, Zion is dunking and getting to the bucket. Okay?
And defense.
Basketball currently is a perimeter-centric sport.
Yep.
Zion is a transcending talent. Zion Williamson cannot single-handedly take his team to the NBA Finals.
No.
Collect your assets.
Agreed.
Develop talent. Access free agency.
Yep.
The Knicks will be fine. I'll put it out there. All right.
It all sounds good.
It sounds good if Rossano Stewart's behind the wheel, but unfortunately, I did not get that dream job.
But are the Knicks going to nick? And that's going to be the question.
And that's the
Right.
question.
Can they resist?
And
Can
we
they
will wait.
resist
But you
the
know who's
urge
lakering
to
right
be
now?
the Knicks?
Which is completely uncharacteristic of them. That team on the West Coast, the Los Angeles Lakers.
I mean,
woe is me
is it
to see what I have
uncharacteristic?
seen.
Like, I mean, honestly,
everybody's-
honestly, if you look at the Lakers
since
this
Jerry Buss
decade,
left?
is it that uncharacteristic? Just given this decade's trajectory.
Since the untimely passing of Mr. Buss, yes, it is very characteristic. of him.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So like, I think it's uncharacteristic for the franchise as a whole. But I mean, the way this decade has gone, I think this is just stuff hitting the fan, and it's like we're really starting to see the Lakers for who they really are.
What would you attribute to the Lakers' dysfunction? As everybody's probably seen, we've seen the Magic Johnson coming on First Take to defend himself. He just recently came on SportsCenter during an NBA Finals preview show, which is really crazy if you think about it. Somebody that was president of basketball operations for a franchise steps down and then is now on national television before the NBA Finals talking about a situation in regards to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's kind of mind-boggling, and it shows the state of the Lakers. What's interesting about the league right now is that two franchises, the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers, have perpetually been in a state of decay and dysfunction. The New York Knicks, after Patrick Ewing was untimely shipped out to the Supersonics, and since Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles tendon. Those two things have kind of set both franchises back. How do you guys feel about the Magic Johnson-Rob Pelinka relationship and it overshadowing what is supposed to be happening with the Lakers rebuild?
So, I think we're only getting one side of that story, right? In general with Magic Johnson. But Rob Pelinka looks like all that is true. Like he just looks like he's guilty of all that. Just Google Rob Pelinka right now. Then go listen to Magic Johnson's comments and then look at Rob Pelinka and tell me you don't think, oh yeah, no, Magic probably telling the truth. That's probably happened. He just looked like that.
He does. He looks like he looks kind of like shady. He looks very shady.
I'm here for the tea, though. I'm here for the tea.
But the reality is, like, knowing how he operated as an agent, it does validate a lot of that too.
Right, yeah. Because agents can do some shady things.
Yeah. And I think that Jeannie was in a unfortunate position and had so many different voices trying to guide her, including her own family. And don't know if she ever really knew what voice to actually hone in on or to just say that her voice is the only voice, right?
Right, yeah.
So now when you have the combination of all those things, yeah, it's going to get messy. And that's exactly what we've seen play out.
Yeah, to go off on that, I mean, Jeannie, first of all, had to fight her brothers to even gain majority ownership of the Lakers. Because, I mean, I remember that being a whole mess. Like, I was like, man, like, the Lakers are a family business. I've heard this come up a lot recently, and it's very true. The Lakers are a family business. And, there'll never be another owner like Dr. Buss. The fact that he was able to have the Lakers for 50 years and win as many championships as he did. But Jeannie had to first deal with the stress of fighting her own brothers to gain much of the control of the Lakers that she has. And then listening to all these voices trying to figure out which one is right. Couple that with Kobe Bryant tearing his Achilles and not being the same player after that. And then also fighting with his teammates and, trying to say, like, I know what it takes to win championship basketball. But at the same time, it's like, my leadership skills are not passing on to my teammates. The biggest example of that for me was when it was like 17 seconds left in the game, and he and Jeremy, like, he was like verbally berating Jeremy Lin on the court about fouling, and I was just like, man, like, is this the state of the Lakers? And then I was like, okay, well, maybe this won't last long, because the Lakers have figured out every decade what it takes to win a championship, and now we're in an era where they were able to get LeBron, which was huge, but the pieces around him with this whole Anthony Davis situation, trying to trade the entire team to get one player, and how that hurt the morale of the young players that they had built through the draft, a la Golden State. It really messed with the team morale. And I think with this whole situation of trying to get Anthony Davis in a trade, it just blew off the lid of what's really going on. Like, there's a greater problem with the Los Angeles Lakers. It's kind of like seeing a cavity in a tooth and then realizing like how bad it's like affecting the entire mouth. Like, it's like the cavity of this situation was the Anthony Davis trade that fell through, but then like blowing the lid off and actually seeing, oh, like there's a greater problem here. And then just Magic Johnson in general, I don't think it's the classiest thing to like all of a sudden say, hey, I'm stepping down, and then, a couple weeks later, like air the dirty laundry on First Take, because it doesn't make him look any better. It's like it makes it seem like he was part of the problem as well. So why decide to air some laundry on a debate show like First Take, knowing the nature of the show? I mean, it was very informative, and like I said, I was here for the tea, but at the same time, it doesn't make you look any better. It doesn't make you look, it doesn't make it look like you're solving the problem. If you want to be a brand ambassador of the Lakers, this is not going, like, if I was in the draft, this is not gonna want to make me go to LA. Like, I don't want to be in a state of dysfunction early in my career. If I'm a Kawhi Leonard, if I'm a Kevin Durant, a Kyrie Irving that's trying to figure out, okay, what's my next step in my career? Do I really want to go into a dysfunctional relationship with the potential of not winning a championship? Probably not. So, I mean, it's just a mess all around. I don't think 2-3 years is really going to help the Lakers. I think it's going to have to be like one of these things where it's going to be like a 4 or 5+ year project where they can finally get back on track.
Yeah, and I think Magic is part of the problem, because the organization is the problem. So Magic apparently set his demands if he was going to be in that position. They apparently were okay with the fact that he wouldn't work all the time, he wouldn't be in the office all the time, it wouldn't be his priority. That the team business was not his priority. His individual businesses were his priority. If they were okay with that and still signed him on to that, that is owned by the organization.
Right.
But his role in that is knowing that he should know better what it takes for a team to be successful, what it takes for a team to win, the culture that needs to be built. And if he's not invested, if that's not his priority, he tells you from day one it's that priority, he shouldn't have to take that job, realistically. And then you saw how things played out over the course of the season.
This is what's disappointing about the situation. Magic Johnson, we know he's got a big personality. He's built businesses. He's very capable of, I would say, seeing the bigger picture of things. And when he got the position as president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers, and he said the big picture is to secure the best player in the league and bring him to the Los Angeles Lakers to play. I don't want to say that he stopped there, but somewhere in the Lakers organizational structure, everything broke down. So it feels like he got LeBron and then he say, okay, you guys do the rest. That's what it feels like. When it comes to the players on that squad, Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo, Tyson Chandler, JaVale McGee, they already had Hart, they already had Lonzo Ball, and they already had Kyle Kuzma. But every other piece around seemed really shabby. It seemed like the scraps of everything. And they had some money left over to sign big free agents. Magic Johnson was asked why he didn't sign Brook Lopez. He admitted he missed on that. Mm-hmm. But what he didn't do was give any explanation on why he put those other pieces around LeBron James and whose decision it was. That's number one.
Well, I'm gonna challenge you just a little bit on that, just because of the simple fact that before LeBron got there, their thought process
You're
was to
listening
build
to
that
the
team
pod.
organically. So drafting Brandon Ingram, drafting Lonzo Ball, drafting Kyle Kuzma. Lonzo Ball is supposed to be their guy. Like, they're building around that and building around that core nucleus. Then the second they sign LeBron James, cool, you bring the superstar to help build these guys up. But these three are our core. LeBron's gonna come help them learn how to win, how to be a championship team, how to be a playoff team. You can't have that direction, set that priority as a direction, and then completely flip your organization upside down by bringing in this one player and then building around that.
But
And
that's the
where
polarizing effect of
is.
LeBron James. If you don't
Well,
sign
so
LeBron James in free
I
agency,
agree.
Right.
I agree, but we know that LeBron James only knows how to win championships one way.
his way.
Everybody knows that.
His
Everybody
way.
knows that.
It's like LeBron is like, if
Correct.
you
Yeah.
don't
It's
build
by-
a team around him to support him,
with superstars.
unless you have another superstar, you won't win with
Correct.
him.
But you can't. But if you're going to still portray this environment, saying that, hey, we're building this nuclear, like, this is our path, is to build this team organically. We can bring a top tier free agent in and let that be another piece that will be the cohesion, and we can build around that core. But then the second you bring LeBron James in and you try to mortgage all that talent off to get another superstar, yeah, like, you're part of the problem. Like, that is your problem that you created.
And here,
In between
and
the
before you cut me
tampering
off, this is
pieces,
where
all those other
this
things.
was my end point. So when you bring LeBron James in and you have solid pieces around, it seems like you stepped away after you got LeBron, and the organizational structure within the Lakers did not have any plan. So every piece that they had around LeBron that they added in free agency there weren't really a lot of mentor guys. Rajon Rondo is not known to mentor players. He's there to do his job and leave, right? Lance Stevenson is entertainment. He's pure popcorn. I'm not really sure if he has a mentorship tendency in him like a Chauncey Billups would have. JaVale McGee, when he was on the Golden State Warriors, known as like this really athletic guy, but not a really true leader. You know, he doesn't have Draymond Green leadership qualities. He's there. He's just there. And so that's where my question was within the organization. What is the foundational structure when it comes to talent acquisition? Because you get LeBron and then that's it. And it seems like the Lakers are operating in this weird dynamic where it's like you have the Magic Johnson, Byron Scott eras, right? And they do their one thing within the organization. Then you have the Kobe Bryant, Rob Pelinka era, right? And they do their one thing within their organization. And then you have everybody else underneath it. And there's too many Chiefs and not enough Indians.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it shows now with the state of the Lakers, them being on national TV, all of this dysfunction within the organization. It didn't seem like the organizational structure was set before Magic took place. It was like, oh, we got Magic, his big personality. Magic equals LeBron James. All right, we got equals LeBron James. LeBron James equals a championship. But they weren't doing any work in between. And now it comes to this.
Well, I mean, I think adding 2 out of those 3 players, the Rondo and McGee, adding players who won championships and been on championship teams. How that transitions to leadership, all that stuff, I don't know. But in the thought process, it's probably just, I'm adding more winners.
But I was still kind of puzzled with
to a
Rondo
team
for
that hasn't
multiple
won,
reasons, because,
to
like,
help
you know,
bring
we
that
saw what happened in
mentality
Dallas, and then we
into the
saw what happened
culture.
in Sacramento. So I was like, okay, well, what's gonna make his personality any different by the time he gets to LA? And plus, like, he played for Boston and won a championship with Boston, and so it's like, all of a sudden you want to be a Laker? Like, I don't know. Like, for me with Rondo, in terms of just like leadership capabilities, I'm sure he has it, but at the same time, like, and we saw it play out this season when he was sitting on the bench where, I mean, he wasn't even sitting with the bench. Like, he was sitting in courtside seats at the end of the game. It's just like very much about him and how they can help him win a championship. Like, he kind of has his own agenda.
He's a mercenary. They got mercenary guys to put around young developmental guys with the alpha male added in free agency. And then they were like, this is going to work. Without any organizational structure leadership. And Jeannie Buss looking left and right to I don't know how many 5 people I didn't even know existed before for
or a coach
help.
with any support.
So it's interesting, and I'm happy as a Knicks fan right now that our issues with Phil Jackson and James Dolan
I think it's interesting because it's
are
like
second to this
looking
right now.
we're in 2019. Honestly, the more removed we are from 2014, the more I feel like LeBron should have just stayed with the Heat and probably win like a couple more championships. Just because like with the Miami Heat organization, they made it very clear that Eric Spoelstra was going to be their coach. Because like, you know, there was a time in 2012 when LeBron wanted Eric Spoelstra out, but it's like Eric Spoelstra is one of those guys that had been with the Heat organization since '94. And Pat Riley made it very clear that this is who he wanted to be his successor at Miami and that he was going to be the coach going forward. I think what the Lakers need and what Cleveland did not have, and it's like, you know, the Lakers are already ahead of Cleveland because they have a city that people want to go to. They have a culture that's unmatched by almost every team in the league. What they really need, they need a president that's going to be stern enough and say, no, like this is going to be like this young core, we're keeping. This coach that we have in Frank Vogel, we're going to keep him as long as he's producing. Like, I think they just need to be very clear. Like, you know, we can't have one player trying to change the entire organization. It's like, focus on what you need to focus on, you know? I appreciate the enthusiasm of, you know, trying to help our GM and things like that, but it's like, I also appreciate you trying to recruit people to come play for us in LA, but at the same time, it's like, you know, we can't have, you know, players forcing coaches out and bringing new coaches in all the time. Like, sure, it worked for Magic Johnson with Pat Riley in the 80s. You know, sure, it worked for LeBron in 2016. Yeah, I mean, it worked for Kobe, it worked for LeBron when he brought in Ty Lue, but it's like, it's not going to work all the time, you know? And
Kobe.
It's just like, you got, like, sometimes you do have to work with what you have. And eventually, if it stops working, then we can have that conversation. But it's like, you can't have constant turnover in a business, in an organization where you're trying to establish a winning culture, not just a culture, a winning culture. Yeah.
Next question. Who has done more for their respective NBA team this season? Drake or Magic Johnson?
I wouldn't just give Drake all the credit with the Raptors. I think he's done a very good job as a brand ambassador. This whole We the North campaign, how it evolved from Northern Uprising. But I also think you need to give props to Nav Bhatia, who has been a season ticket holder with the Raptors for 24 years, like since the jump. And he's a car salesman that immigrated to Canada, and he's the embodiment of the Toronto Raptors. I also think you need to give credit to Masai Ujiri because he made a decision that a lot of people didn't agree with, myself included. I was like, well, why trade DeMar DeRozan? You know, and for Kawhi Leonard, who may not even stay with Toronto. And, you know, why get rid of Coach of the Year Dwayne Casey? Like, what? Like, is that really going to be that big of a change? And here they are in their first NBA Finals. So I think you got to give three people credit with Toronto, but Toronto's definitely done more than what the Lakers have done, obviously.
So, Chloe, before you came on the pod, me and Jay made a bet.
Let's address that. Let's address it.
I thought about it every day this whole week, Jay.
I'm proud of you. Let me say, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm grown. I'm maturing. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get like you. And so we made a bet, and I said, what are they doing? I was like, first of all, it wasn't even about the trade. We basically leveraged a bet to see who would be more successful coming out of that trade. And I told Jay, Rosen with Greg Popovich behind him is going to be great. You know, he's going to have an all-star season. They're going to go deep into the playoffs. And I just wasn't believing that Kawhi was going to have a transcendent season that he has. I feel about Kawhi Leonard now how I feel about LeBron James when he beat Golden State to win his first win his title in Cleveland. I respect Kawhi Leonard to the utmost. I will argue anybody down if they say anything bad about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is, in my opinion, the third best player in the NBA. And he's on track to be the best when LeBron leaves and when KD comes down from his threshold. Kawhi Leonard is 27 years old. He's an NBA Finals MVP, right? He arguably could have won another Finals if Zaza Pachulia did not take him out. And he took
You're listening to the Pine.
Kyle
You're
Lowry
listening to the Pine.
to the NBA Finals. Oh,
Yep.
okay?
In some New Balances.
Off a
Yep.
1-year contract.
Yep.
Off a 1-year deal. Okay?
I'm still trying to figure out why you thought I was crazy.
And I think a lot of
I
people
couldn't see
forgot.
it, I
Like
couldn't see it.
a lot of people
I could
forgot
not see it. I
how
didn't have the
great of a
foresight.
two-way player
But
he is. Like
I
he
will
was the
defend
best
Kawhi
two-way
Leonard
player in the game. And
forever.
you know, I was mad in 2014 as a Heat fan, of course. But I mean, I think that one season where he only played 6 games, people forgot how great of a player Kawhi is. And I think he's refreshed in the East. I didn't think they would make the finals. I thought they would make the East finals at least. But I mean, what he was able to do, his body is breaking down. He had to play some extremely long series just to even get an entire franchise on the finals, carrying the entire team on his back. I kind of hope he does stay in Toronto. I really want to see, like, what's that dynamic going to be? I think the only problem would be, like, maybe he'll get tired of, like, carrying the team by himself, and he'll eventually need Siakam to step up a little bit more, and, you know, who's really going to be there in the long term for him. But, you know, I would hate to see Kawhi bring Toronto all this way only for him to leave, and then Toronto has to start from scratch again. I would feel for that city.
If Kawhi wins a championship this year and beats Golden State, he can do whatever. I wouldn't be mad if he left and really lived out his dreams. That would truly be a Disney basketball story. You know what I mean? Truly. Like, what Kawhi Leonard did this season is absolutely amazing.
I think he leaves regardless, but that's just me.
But didn't his uncle say that in the
I
IG video
cannot deny
that
you
his
for a
sister
good
was
2 weeks
making
now.
when they went to the
Anything you
finals?
say, I'm
Like,
gonna
he ain't gonna
agree
stay
with for 2 weeks,
anyway.
Jay.
Oh.
Damn.
I mean, I didn't see that, but
gonna have to find that video,
validates
Chloe.
my point. My thing, I just think he's gone anyway. Like, I think he came out here and did what he planned on doing, and it turned into success. And he played his game, and he's going to try to win. He's not going to go in there and just BS around. Like, he's going to win. They're probably going to still get beat in this finals. I got Golden State in 5, but
You know what I wish would happen? The Game of Thrones writers saw this play out before they finished the last season of Game of Thrones and just wrote the whole story arc based on Kawhi Leonard's NBA run this season.
well, my part of my foresight was the fact that LeBron James ain't gonna be there. So I'm like, all right, that's gonna be a lot easier road for him than having to deal with all the stuff in the West. But I didn't think they were gonna make the finals. I didn't pick them for the finals. But in our pure bet between who was gonna have a better year, him or DeRozan.
Jay, you can laugh now, but let's think about when we made this bet. Like, they were saying Kawhi Leonard might not play this season.
I laughed you off the podcast. I had all the jokes. I don't know.
Jay,
I was like, what did you see in DeRozan to make you think that was... All right, I'm done joking. All right.
I stand corrected, Jay.
Kawhi was great.
You were
Kawhi's phenomenal. No, Kawhi's great.
Kawhi Leonard is the king of the North.
Yeah, he got this. This is it's a good reason why they don't do the MVP.
I think KD was on a tear before he got hurt.
I mean, Giannis should get it
would
definitely, but Kawhi, that needs to be like a most amazing season award.
Yeah.
For
And if
Kawhi.
Giannis develops a jump shot, he's gonna be the best player in the NBA.
Yes, it has.
He's got to get there first. The WNBA season is popped off.
I'm here for it.
And I am tuning in
I'm here for
Liz
it.
Cambage. Okay? I got a big crush on Liz Cambage.
Christ.
If I was Tormund, she would be Brienne. Shout out to Liz Cambage. Follow you on Instagram. I think you're funny. I think you're talented.
I'm excited.
I think you should get paid more.
I'm going for the Sparks just because.
How you guys feeling about the WNBA season popping
Well,
off?
I know Candace Parker's hurt right now, but I like Candace Parker as a player. And then, of course, the Ogwumike sisters, Shanae and Nneka, being from Houston. They went to Sci-Fair. Shout out to Sci-Fair High School. I did not go there, but they did. So, anybody who's from the greater Houston area doing big things, they were both #1 picks. And, LA They're looking to tie the Minnesota Lynx and the defunct but best team alive, Houston Comets, for most titles in WNBA history. So looking forward to seeing what they can do this season.
I'm a homer.
You know what? That was my first time going to a playoff game, like anywhere.
The Dream had a good season last year.
Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals was fun. I mean, obviously the Mystics won, but I mean, it was a fun atmosphere. Like 2 Chainz was there. It's gonna be interesting to see, like, you know, what the crowd is gonna be like now that they're back at State Farm Arena, because it was at McCamish where Georgia Tech plays, but. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the Dream does. I'm also interested in the Lynx because Maya Moore is taking a year off. So, yeah, she's taking a year off. She wants to get in touch with herself spiritually. I think ultimately she wants to be a pastor. So she's taking a year off to focus on that.
I think she wanted to do that, but she was also tired of beating people in a game. Like, Maya Moore can play all galaxy level.
Too easy.
I think she was just
she
like,
is,
these people can't really touch me, so I can just
like,
take time
no
off.
matter where she's played,
she
whether
might
it
be
was
the Jordan
UConn,
of
overseas,
WNBA.
or with the Lynx, it's like she's never lost a championship 2 years in a row. Ever.
Yeah. She's all world. She's all galaxy.
She's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. She's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen.
She needs to be in Space Jam, definitely. We're going to keep it moving to the NBA Finals. Now, you heard us talk. I heard Jay's prediction. He said the Warriors in 5. We're going to take bets right now on who's going to win the finals and how many games. And
wait, you want an explanation from Jay and
me? Yeah, I need an explanation as to why, by the way. But go ahead, Chloe.
I've said it before. I'm going to say it for
both of you guys.
What? The
Jay already gave his prediction.
Dubs in 6. So the thing with Kevin Durant, I know Kevin Durant is out for game 1. DeMarcus Cousins is questionable. I think ultimately, you know, Kevin Durant will make an appearance. I think by the time they get back to the Bay for game 3, and they will need him because I think Kawhi Leonard is going to have a game. And unless DeMarcus Cousins is on the floor, they don't have a real answer for him. But at the same time, game 6 against the Houston Rockets told me everything I need to know about Golden State. When Kevin Durant was not on the floor, Steph Curry was able to show up, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. Those are the 3 that were built through the draft. They all have championship experience. They were not going to just lay down and die because the nitro booster that they added to the team was out. You know, they had to go back to playing the way they did in 2016. And it's like the only difference is they have 3 championships instead of 1. So just given their experience, given how they know how to turn it on, especially on the road, the fact that Portland was up 17 against them 3 different times in the Western Conference Finals and they came back and swept them anyway, I think Toronto is going to win the first couple games at home because they're still riding that wave of it's our first NBA Finals, and you know they have one of the best atmospheres, not just inside the stadium at Scotiabank, but also Jurassic Park. I think they're going to ride that wave really well. Fred VanVleet has been on a tear since he's no longer stressed that his wife is in labor because now his child is here. But I think, you know, Golden State, they might get stunned a little bit, but once they get home, it's over with, you know, and they're going to want to wrap it up at home. So Warriors in 6.
Yeah, go ahead. I need your explanation.
Van Fleet, my guy. That's my guy. Wichita State in the building. That's my guy.
Six.
Shout out to Van Fleet, man. I need me one of them those OVO colorway Raptors jerseys with Van Fleet in the back. Yeah, I need one of them Van Fleet jerseys. I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna find one of those because that's my guy. Even beyond all that, Warriors in 5 because they're the Warriors.
I will accept that response.
Explanation. Steph is gonna be Steph, and if he plays at the level he's played at the last few games, they don't have an answer. Kyle Lowry is gonna just bury himself. There's nothing he's gonna do about that. Not a single thing. And then let Klay Thompson guard Kyle Lowry. It'll be over. It's over. It's over. Series over. Kawhi is going to do everything he
And that's
can
exactly
in his power,
why
put that team on his
Steve
back,
Kerr met with
and carry
Greg
them to a
Popovich over
championship.
dinner
And
recently.
it's going to carry them to one game.
Wow.
Is it? It's strategy.
I was gonna get into that. That was dirty. Okay, like that seemed like some kind of like secret meeting where they were like, "We've created a monster in Kawhi Leonard, and he's coming. I need all of the plans to his build and makeup. I need to know everything about him." It was kind of. I didn't really like that because it's almost like the Warriors don't need any more advantages, right? Like have a phone call, cool.
Right,
but
exactly.
Actually meeting in person over wine to talk about Kawhi Leonard. Well, we don't know what they talked about, but to speculate that they were talking about how to defeat Kawhi Leonard, that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. I think this series is going to be closer than 5 or 6 games. I think it's going 7 games. That's my hot take. I think the Warriors are going to win, but if Boogie Cousins doesn't come back, and if KD does not come back, and Paul Gasol has to only deal with Draymond Green in the post, and Golden State doesn't have any strong post presence, I think it's going to be a little bit closer.
I was surprised.
I have the Warriors
I was
winning,
very impressed
but
with their
I would
bench.
not be surprised
Like,
if it goes 7 games.
And that's the thing. Like the Warriors and the Raptors, they both kept to their same slogans for the past couple seasons. But like the whole strength in numbers thing really came in clutch because Steve Kerr had to reach deep in that bench. Kevon Looney. And the other person we're forgetting about, Andre Iguodala could come back too now. And Andre Iguodala was Finals MVP for his defense against LeBron. So he might be able to, bring that 2015 back. He wasn't as effective as he could have been.
LeBron still had triple doubles
because of Andre.
And he got Finals MVP.
If Andre Iguodala comes back, like that's someone to put on Kawhi because he can steal the ball, he can play defense.
There you have it, people. Those are predictions. We're going to definitely give you some podcast updates as the series goes on. Let's talk about Kevin Durant's health. I don't feel like Kevin Durant is as healthy or this injury was as minor as we think it is. I think Kevin Durant is really, really hurt. And seeing that this is a big offseason for free agency, I think I'm not, as a Knicks fan, and I might sound crazy saying that, but I don't think the Knicks can afford a damaged player to garner a max contract in a city of that magnitude with all the expectations on him. Like, if you told me I could get Kevin Durant and without a doubt he would be coming there 3 weeks ago, I'll be all for it. But now I'm at like 50-50. Like, do we really want those problems? Do we really want an injured player? Because I know sports medicine is amazing, but as a Knicks fan, I'm just very paranoid about these things, and we've seen it happen before. Amari Stoudemire was a perfect example where we gave him a max contract, and he played great his first year, but he wasn't all the way healthy, and his health deteriorated for the remainder of that contract, and that's $120 million
I'm not that
gone.
paranoid just because,
how do you guys feel about KD's health?
Yeah, I'm not at all. I don't want those problems, but with Kevin
you're not
Durant,
a Knicks fan, Chloe.
It's a calf strain, so it usually does take 4 weeks to heal. Like, this injury happened earlier in the month, therefore it's going to take a while for him to get back to being healthy. I think there's some concern because it's like, what if he does this again, or like, what if he does tear his Achilles next time? But I'm not, I don't really like to be a what if sort of person. Just let the man play ball. I just think, he does need a couple more days of rest. He is traveling with the team. I do expect him to be back by like game 3 or 4, but I'm not too concerned with his health at this stage, just knowing how long it takes for an injury like of this magnitude to heal.
Jay?
You're listening to The Pine.
I don't think it's going to affect anything in the immediate for Golden State, but I think long term for him, that being able to really take time, heal, and I don't know. I feel like he's going to find himself maybe in a similar situation as Cousins was last year, where people are going to be a little bit iffy because he's had leg injuries before, and I don't know if he's going to get all the money that he probably would deserve. At least for some teams that would have probably gave him every dime that they could have given. But I really don't think he's still Kevin Durant. He's still the greatest player in the world, arguably, and I don't think it's gonna change anything for him. He'll still end up New York, Clippers, somewhere. He will get a contract. He will get a big contract. He will be playing for somebody next year and playing at a high level.
Somebody that has their whole NBA career ahead of him just signed a major contract with Nike. We're speaking of Ja Morant. I wish that sports properties would talk a little bit more about players' contracts and like the bidding wars. I would like to see a piece. And now that I said all of this, we could create it here. We got all the talent here on the Pine. Ja Morant said he signed with Nike, and it's an undisclosed amount currently. But where do you think R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson go, and how much more money do they get than Ja Morant's Nike contract?
I want to believe Zion's a Nike guy. Because a lot of people do compare his size and stature to LeBron and everything, and of course LeBron is the face of Nike. But maybe he'll go to another shoe company like Adidas or Under Armour. I'm still not sold on Puma, just as a basketball shoe. Like a soccer shoe, a track and field shoe, yeah. As a basketball shoe, I don't know if it's that supportive. Adidas, I also look at Derrick Rose like, ooh, I don't know. Kobe Bryant was with them for a minute and switched to Nike. Zion might do the same. He might start with one brand and switch to another. Under Armour has Steph Curry, but I don't know if Under Armour doesn't have the track record yet. I think they're getting there though. I don't know. I feel like I just don't see Zion with anybody but Nike. I could be totally wrong on that because I don't know Zion personally. But I think whoever does sign him, it's gonna be an astronomical amount. That's not gonna make a whole lot of sense initially. Just for me, because it's like, no, it might be Rossano. Like that's the thing. Like it really might be, and I've thought about that. Like what if it really is like upwards of $100 million? That's gonna be insane. But it's a bet that these shoe companies are willing to make because he was such a big prospect in high school, a big prospect in college. Someone might offer him that, and he might take it. And we'll just have to see what happens in 5 years if that deal will still stand or if it'll grow into a lifetime deal, things like that.
What's crazy is they didn't disclose Ja's number because Zion hasn't signed his contract yet, and that's what I think. I think that's why. It's like we don't know what Zion's getting, so we're just gonna say undisclosed amount right now. We want to make the bigger splash.
I think when we talk about this generation of kids, that Nike is gonna be the brand that they typically are gonna run to. In general, like in their thought process, but I think Zion's gonna get the highest contract out of anybody for an endorsement deal, shoe deal. I don't know what that looks like. I think it'd be better than what LeBron's was in 2003, but that's just basic economics. He can demand more.
Yeah, but, LeBron got a lifetime contract as well too.
Eventually, yeah. But I think Nike makes the most sense with Zion. I think that whole issue with the NCAA tournament and shoe exploding, probably it's like they did that wasn't intentional, but them bringing him in and then crafting a shoe for him was like, hey, let's show you what we can do. Eventually when you finish and you're able to be one and you're able to actually sign a deal, we're going to give you a preview of what you can look forward to. So I think they had the leg up in that situation. I can see RJ Barrett doing like Adidas.
I would like that. That would be cool.
Dame Lillard's there. I think
do they still exist?
Zion, Nike, that just makes the most sense.
Who's going with Big Baller Brand?
What I was going to say is I can tell you what Zion's not going to do, and that's create his own shoe.
Okay. I actually think if Zion created his own shoe, it would do really well.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the market's more like
kids
in high school.
But there's a market
kind of
there.
like the Big Baller Brand. It was like mostly
there.
for like, there were people that were fans of the Ball family, but I feel like it was a lot of like high schoolers that were like really into the big baller hype. But as you can see, like it's really hard pulling off a business of that stature. You know, it's hard making a shoe from scratch and, you know, having it, you know, be the most popular in sales your first year. It's hard making, and then it's hard making a league successful after your first year. Like, well, I mean, you can look at the Alliance of American Football, but like you can also look at what LeVar Ball did with JBA. Like, players didn't get paid. So, I mean, and now like Lonzo Ball's cut all ties to Big Baller Brand, covering up the tattoo, firing the agent, all that sort of stuff. So it's a lot of mess that was for the most part unnecessary. You know, it was like trying to capitalize off somebody being number 2 in the draft and doing well with the Lakers. But, you know, it's like, I think it was a valuable lesson for a lot of these kids coming out of school. Like, you really got to be careful with who you do business with. And you really have to surround yourself with business savvy people to make some smart decisions. So that way you're not fumbling your bag years later and going broke.
Somebody need to tell.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? I stumbled upon him on Instagram last week, and I was like, "What? Like, who is this trying to be the next LaMelo or the next Lonzo?" You know, it's unnecessary.
Well, see, he had a name already because he was that kid from like 4 years ago that. All the viral videos of the kid doing this super extreme basketball training with like the crazy handles and hitting every 3 and stuff like that. That's the same kid. He's the same kid that went super viral with that, and his dad was that coach. That's that kid. Here's the problem: he ain't but grown about 2 inches from like 4 years. He's only like 5'5". 5'6", like it's just like his jump shot looks like a 12-year-old. It goes in, but he shoots like a 12-year-old. Like it's like he barely handled the ball. But it's I'm just saying, like the whole thing about having a family member almost exploit you to their benefit, trying to capitalize off of what you're doing and the name that you're making. Like it's. We got somebody got to have LeVar Ball need to have a conversation with that kid's dad, and they did a whole thing on. They have a Snapchat show.
Yeah, and his sister went to go take a picture of him.
That kid. He just played LaMelo Ball in a high school game, and I think they got their ass whooped. Yeah, it's just so weird. It's just weird, and like somebody need to have a conversation with them. Like,
not even like you can't even look
at
like
be a kid.
They just need to watch the movie.
You can look at like
that's all.
Because this all reminds me of like the Moranovich project. That was an excellent 30 for 30, by the way, about like Todd Moranovich and his dad, and like how his dad was training him from birth, and he was supposed to be like the Robo QB, and went to USC, didn't do well after the Sun Bowl, and like, you know, fell apart because it's like his dad was exploiting his child from the crib. Or, you know, you look at child stars like, you know, Different Strokes and things like that. Or like, you know, all these little Disney child stars where it's like their parents take their money from them and things like that. But it's like they're the breadwinners. You know, it's sick. And it evolves era to era. And, you know, it's just like, let them be kids, man. Like, you know, I just look at all these high schoolers, you know, trying to get these deals or like, you know, going viral on Instagram and Twitter and things like that. And like, you got to look at the ratio of like the number of people that actually go from being a high school prodigy to like an NBA superstar. It's very few and far between, and there's reasons for that. You know, it's like you gotta be able to separate yourself, or, you know, be like a Steph Curry where it's like my dad was coming off the bench. I wasn't known very well in high school. I only had one offer, but I'ma still, you know, work and I'ma still make a name for myself. I feel like a lot of these kids, because they're surrounded by all these people early, they get really entitled, and they're surrounded by people that got big egos as well. And like they got this whole entourage, and it's just like, dog, there's no need for that, because these European kids that are coming overseas to play the NBA, like they're not gonna play that, you know? Giannis has taught us that. Kristaps Porzingis has taught us that. Like, this game is leveling out. It's like soccer, you know, talent is coming from around the world. It's not just you. It's not just about you. You know, and someone needs to tell these AAU parents, like, it is a rude awakening when you're an adult. Like, it's a rude awakening in college. It's a rude awakening when you're pro. Like, y'all gotta relax.
You're listening to The Pine.
Facts. We're gonna keep it moving to a game that we have in the show called 3 Words. I am gonna ask you guys about a subject, and you're going to give me 3 words to describe that subject. It could be a person, place, or a thing. You guys ready?
One big
Yep.
mess.
First subject, Rob Pelinka. 3 words, go.
He's a snake.
That's you.
666.
You fit that in there. Next subject, Drake. 3 words, go.
I don't know if I got anything for that. I don't think if I got any real response to that. He's the best.
What?
He just is.
Accept that answer.
He just is. He's hilarious.
Drake is the worst.
He is taking that and
That was wild.
Even the thing with the
That
the
was
owner's
wild.
daughter and push a t-shirt and
That
he hit
was
it with
wild.
oh god. Come on.
Jay,
That's my
you
guy.
sat on this
Like, you're like
podcast
a-
and
Nah,
you
Drake is
claimed
heat
Drake
out of
after Pusha T
pocket.
roasted him,
That
and
is
now you're saying that he's the
funny.
best.
That is funny. Like he's doing so much. He's doing so much. And people are so mad. That's the thing about it. People are
Drake is
so
an appropriator.
mad.
Here's my thing about Drake.
But the
Drake
things
is
he's
a
doing
cultural
that have no
appropriator.
influence on the game. Oh, he's a serial
He's
cultural
a serious
appropriator. Here's your 3 words.
appropriator. He's
But-
on levels. He's on ridiculous levels of
Yeah,
appropriation.
but that's it. But he has
No, but well,
connection to that
it's
team,
funny
literally.
because I don't know.
Like it's not like he just
Well, no,
picked
he
him up to
is.
be
He is a
I
fan
don't
of
know,
Kentucky
but he
too.
also had a
I was
connection
obsessed with
to Kentucky basketball, and he also
No,
had a
he
connection to.
doesn't have. There's no legal way, but there's no legal way unless he's a booster. There's no legal way he has a connection to Kentucky basketball. He has a legit paid for. He is on their payroll as an ambassador.
Drake
Like,
also has a connection.
Yeah,
to
and
the
to your
Jamaican
point,
track
it's
team,
very
'cause he's
boy who
Jamaican
cried
some
wolf.
days
But he,
too.
I mean, no,
And
he's
then when I
always
saw
been a
an
fan
interview,
of
then
the
he had a
Raptors.
Canadian
He's
accent
always
that I
been a
never
fan
heard.
of Kentucky. I mean, I don't know if he. I mean, you know, I'm
He's
sure
always been a
he
fan
would
of
ride
any
for
team
the Maple Leafs
that
if they were in the
is
Stanley
popular.
Cup, or like, you know, the Blue Jays if they were in the World Series. But you know, with the Raptors, it's different. With Kentucky, it's different.
Listen, he is as much as he can be detestable, I guess, in certain aspects. And I think people more is about
I don't know
the
what he
success that
says
comes
about
along
like
with
what
that.
women can do
He's
versus
just-
what
he's
can do with
likable.
women. It's
He's
just
a
like,
likable person.
Not a
yikes.
He's a
likable
likable
person. There's
human
nothing
person.
likable about Drake.
He's
Yeah.
oh that's DJ Khaled's weird about that too. But
Look,
I'm-
Drake,
but
there's
I'm
nothing
like,
likable about Drake.
this
Drake
man-
is
this man-
a beta male.
He buys
with
into
alpha
all the
male
jokes.
talent.
Yeah, like he's
That's
in
why
on
I
his
like
own
DJ.
curves.
Listen, that man wore 76er sweats
That was funny.
because he's on his own jokes. Like,
I don't know
come
about
on,
charming.
like, come on, man. That's charming.
Yeah,
he's a charming.
He's
young
funny.
man.
I'll leave it at
Oh,
that.
God,
I was
no.
with you.
Drake, Jay. All right, we're gonna moving on. We know who the Drake stand is on this podcast.
Well, listen, I will own that.
Yeah,
because
I've known
I
some
have
Degrassi fans
been
too.
that Drake fan since 2007.
Shout out to Morgan and
Yeah,
shout out to
Jay.
Sydney because
I still have my ticket. I still have my ticket stub from a college show.
yeah, my friend Morgan has a ticket stub
I
for
still have my
Warehouse
ticket stub from a
Live. Shout out
college show
to
we did at
Morgan
Georgia
and
Southern.
shout out to Sydney
Listen,
because they will. Oh, and shout out to Ty too. My friend Ty from school. Oh man, they will ride till the wheels fall off. Will do.
Make sure all of them subscribe to the
Which
Pond.
is which?
Next subject. The baby. 3 words.
All right.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna help you out.
Okay.
So you got Lil Baby. That's the rapper from Atlanta.
Okay.
So which one is the one that's like
Does
brand new
Baby,
whip got no keys?
Who's a rapper from North Carolina? Question
Okay.
mark?
Cool.
Shout out to Jay for the background.
That's the one that got in a fight.
That's Lil Baby.
Okay. All right. Cool.
The Baby is the one that's gonna knock you out. Yeah. He's okay. So the baby, real quick, he's the one that a rapper. No, so let me backtrack. He's the one that was at Walmart, and a rapper or somebody tried to rob him.
Yo, this is like
and he killed them.
This is people of
and
Walmart
so
to the next level.
Because he
What?
killed
Kills
him
him
in
in
Walmart.
with the quickness.
That's a lie.
They tried to rob him, so he stood his ground and he killed them. And he went
That
about
is
his
a lie.
business.
You know, he didn't just shoot them in the leg or shoot at them and then ran.
Oh, no,
he killed a
ended
human.
their life. Yeah, and then, so more recently, a rapper was like on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever.
That's the fight. Okay.
At a Louis Vuitton store, talking big game to the baby, like. Again, he's not the same person. He's the same person that murdered somebody in a Walmart parking lot. We're gonna remind you of
not
this.
in the parking lot, inside near the meat
So,
section.
it was in the store. Yeah, we're gonna remember that. This is the same person that did that. But you gonna okay? So he was talking big stuff, and then trying to fight him. And the next thing you know, you see the end footage.
The end game
with the dude with the man's pants down, drawers, ass hanging out his drawers,
nose
beat
bloody,
the F up.
eyes spinning.
Y'all need to stop putting these
So, my
SoundCloud
three
rappers
words
on.
is,
Stop SoundCloud rappers
that
2019.
he is
Like,
he's
that's
gangster.
scary, yo. What? He
He's
killed
a-
someone
he's an
inside
OG.
a Walmart. But it's like
beat that man
inside
to
the Walmart. Inside the wall, like
Self-defense.
it would be different if it was in the parking lot.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
inside
with you, Chloe. That's
the establishment where there are children
He's
running around
hardcore.
in the clothing section, being bad as hell, enough to get hit by a stray
Self-defense.
bullet. Oh my goodness. Oh Jesus.
Self-defense. Self-defense.
Listen, it was very extreme, and looking at it from the outside, I pray that this energy like dissipates with people just running around.
Yeah. I don't know why
It's
they're
not
trying to
ending
say
well.
The energy needs to leave him alone. Why are these people trying to bother
my
him?
gosh.
That seems to be the energy, because all he's doing is defending himself in all these situations.
And it's but you know,
he didn't go out and try
it's
to
a lot
fight this
going on.
dude. The dude
it's
ran up on
sad.
him.
It's still sad that there's loss of life and people getting their asses whooped.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm scared that it's gonna continue on because it's trending now. You know what I'm saying?
No, so listen. If the trend comes, hey,
What,
see
on
if you
what,
can
World
beat the
Star?
baby. I will be here to watch all of them lose. I will be here to watch.
So look, the baby's like a
dead.
final boss
Pick a-
character on the video game.
He's M. Bison, bro. Like he's.
I said it, which
he's
is
Shao
which.
Kahn.
Because I didn't know the difference
He's
between Lil
not
Baby and the
one.
baby.
He's
Chloe,
Mike
what is your
Tyson
3
in
words for
Punch-Out.
the baby? Which is which? I like that. Which is which?
Yeah, he's not to be fooled with. Please
He
leave
is,
him alone.
and I did my research on this guy. I
Oh.
don't
And he
know
can
if he's a
rap. And he can
SoundCloud
rap.
rapper, but I do know.
No, he's
Okay.
he put out a major album.
Yeah,
a month
he's
or
on.
two ago.
He has a YouTube video that high quality production.
He's a good rapper. That's the thing. He
I
can
don't know
rap
about
too.
that, Jay. I don't know about that.
Oh no, he can rap.
You know who else can rap? Shout out.
because it's a little too tough for me. Like I feel inferior.
No, but you know who else can rap? Shout out to
toughness.
And you
Taylor,
also feel inferior
Megan
by
Thee
seeing him
Stallion.
actually operate in
It's
real
Hot Girl
life.
season. That's all. No, she's not. No, City Girls are from Miami. Yeah.
Oh, is she
So Megan's from
affiliated with
Houston.
City Girls in any
She
way?
went to Texas Southern. Shout out to TSU.
Okay. Listen, I feel inferior to the baby and Megan Thee Stallion because they're about it. I'm not about that life.
Yeah. The baby is nice though. He can rap. I can't tell you any songs, but he can rap.
We want to thank you guys for listening to The Pine. Continue rocking with us. Continue listening. Subscribe on SoundCloud at The Real Pine, on Twitter at The Pine Pod, on Instagram at The Pine Podcast, and on YouTube at The Pine Podcast. Guys, do you have any quotes that you want to leave the people with?
I don't have a quote, but I got some words of wisdom.
Let's hear it, Jay.
Listen, everyone. whatever
Leave the
you're
baby
doing,
alone 2019.
No matter where you are, leave the baby alone.
I
It's
don't know.
not.
I think my
gonna
words of
end
wisdom
well
going
for
back
you.
to like what
Start
we were
the
talking about
hashtag,
with
Jay.
like these whole AAU families and like
Start it up.
exploiting kids. Yo, not everyone can be on your team. You gotta decide who can be on your team. Run it like they do with these organizations. Sometimes you gotta trade, sometimes you gotta pick people up from the trade. Sometimes you gotta let people go. Sometimes they gotta get cut. But not everybody can ride with you. And they will reveal themselves over time.
I'm gonna end it with, it's okay to be a fun guy. Shout out Kawhi Leonard. Thanks for listening to The Pine.
Listen,
Subscribe.
real quick. Please go
my
on YouTube
goodness.
and find
How
the
bad
video
was
that is
it?
the evolution of Kawhi Leonard's
It's
laugh.
very Squidward
It's a
now.
great
Like,
video.
I
I've seen
can
it,
only
Jay.
imagine.
So good.
right.
It's just so good. It's
You're
Bye.
listening to the
it's
Pine.
just so good. You gotta watch it. It's good. It's worth it.
Thanks for listening. Peace.
Peace.